Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our morning edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars Live Feed Spoilers. We are now in day 21. We are moving closer to the eviction show on Thursday. Not that I think a lot of people want to get to that eviction show soon.
No.
There's campaigning to discuss. There's a new deal that has been sorted out. We've heard Nicole and Danny list off some people that they are targeting. And guess what? Christmas has more star babies.
We don't have star babies, but we have a lot of Final Fantasy plushies, so this is our way of
This is our representation. You're welcome, everyone.
We're participating.
This is what my Final Fantasy fandom has brought us. Well, we will get into all of this, but before we do, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You see this cactar, they would really appreciate that. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Also, if you want to support us more, check the links in the description to the store and also our Patreon, where there are live chats at the end of every month. That's right. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. It's started to get haywire already. We're a minute in.
Okay, we'll talk about Christmas because we have all of our pretend pseudo star babies. She is up to 13 star babies now, so it's gotten really out of control in there, which makes it really funny. There are still no star babies on the CPS store for me to buy.
This is ongoing updates here on the state of the star babies. The thing is that once they got to 9, I kind of just thought it was done at that point. I don't know why. I just was sort of, they're not going to put more in there now. There's no way.
This joke is just turning into a clown car. It's so good.
I think what's happening is the producers are probably they have been in their own sort of quarantine for a while, and I think they're sort of starting to progressively lose it as we are all losing it.
Yep.
And I think they just have probably talking to like a PA or something, and they're just like, you know what this season needs now? More star babies.
That's right.
We're going to get to Thursday, and there's going to be like 200 of them in there.
Oh, that's amazing. Then put them on the store, please.
Okay, that could be a trade-off. But yeah, I know it's inconsequential, but it's probably one of the funnier Christmas-related things that we have, unless all of you really want a breakdown of Christmas, talking at length about her own life to Janelle instead of Janelle actually getting the campaign.
Yeah, that kind of went on. And I mean, I get in some ways why Christmas might be doing that as strategy, or she just might be doing it because she likes to talk about her own life.
Yeah.
But it is a way to sort of detract from Janelle trying to campaign.
Christmas, really big fan of Christmas. Really excited about all of Christmas's accomplishments. She's playing a pretty solid game, but I would say listening versus speaking, and listening is not always Christmas's strong suit.
Unless she's listening to her stories.
Or Paul. And Paul is unfortunately not on this season, but alas, it does still seem as though Janelle is probably going to be evicted over Kaser. There's no significant movement to report on this subject.
No, but we do have to talk about whether or not Kaser really wants to stay, because he has been he's not woe is me really, but he is kind of being more reflective on sort of, where he is in the game, or if he even has a shot anymore. And I kind of get where he's coming from with that, because he has played before, and he had that big speech with Nicole Anthony before she left, where he was kind of like, I'm really thankful for this opportunity. Like, I've come back before and I didn't take the opportunity as well as I'm taking the opportunity this time. But he kind of came in and was dealt a bit of a bad hand right away because Janelle was there. They automatically got paired together. Then Nicole Anthony just torched them for a week straight. They just really didn't have that much of a shot.
He is in his feelings a little bit about the whole ordeal. I know Davon tried to encourage him to get out there and fight, and I think he will. And I think this isn't a situation where Kaser just wants to quit the show or anything like that. I just think he's going through it. He's never played this game without Janelle before. He's probably going to be in that position, and I think it's probably daunting where you're losing your best friend in the house by far, and then you were stuck with all of these other people who the majority of them have all probably known each other, have probably hung out outside the game. I don't see Kaser he's not the sort of person who has probably spent the past few years immersing himself in the CBS reality community.
Yeah, I think he knows he's got a hard time coming up. I think the idea of going through the game just alone, which is what he thinks is about to happen. He doesn't think that he's going to really be able to make those connections, make those friendships. The other side is just so tight. He's a bit older than everybody that maybe he's just like, oh man, like, yeah, maybe they'll keep me around for a while, but what is this game going to be like for me? Am I really just going to be playing backgammon by myself, just eating by myself? Nobody's going to really want to talk to me. Like, how is it really going to be?
Here's the good news, Kaser. If there's a power America hands out, they'll probably give it to you, but I need you to listen here. Don't target Kevin with the power. It will make all of the casual fans who don't know you're thinking about this lose your mind. Listen to the cactar. It will tell you to not do this. Don't do this. Like, come on, Kaser.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he will do something different, but it's going to be really hard to know. I mean, Kevin is so, like, all about how much he hates them, so I get why Kaser would be thinking like that.
Favorite, well, I don't know if favorite's the right word, but this is a Kevin moment that happened yesterday where he tried to explain to Janelle how Kaser is sketchy. What? Like, why? Why do you think, Janelle's not going to be like, you know what, Kevin? You're right. This person who I'm really close friends with, I'm going to take your word on this over Kaser. It's never happening, Kevin. I'm sorry.
And I don't know why that would help anything, Kevin, because telling Janelle this, if Janelle is going, then what have you accomplished?
Nothing.
Are you just trying to break up their friendship because that thing is solid?
It's not going anywhere. Kevin's also kind of comparing Kaser to Ronnie from Big Brother 11.
Okay.
Which, Kevin's got some serious blinders that are happening, and it's frustrating hearing some of these people who are sort of outside of the core group. It's like David, he seems to be thinking with Janelle and Kaser that, okay, you guys are associated with somebody who, had my name in their mouth, so I don't know how to feel about all of you. They weren't really that close to Memphis.
They weren't, but I still say that move that Janelle made, sitting up in the HOH with Memphis for as long as she did, drinking wine, sketched out the whole house. It sketched out, Memphis's side. It sketched out everybody over with, Nicole Anthony, David. Like, everybody sort of was worried about that. I think if she had maybe just had a smaller conversation or shorter, but they were there for a really long time, and I think it made people nervous.
It did, and Janelle screwed this up. I mean, we can talk about how much we love Janelle, but Janelle has made some mistakes. That is certainly one of them that is out there, and now we are in this position where we're kind of left to see whether or not the Blob Alliance will turn on each other. I have no verifiable proof of this. I'm just putting it out into the universe. I think we're eventually going to get to a point where, like, the Cody side of the Blob Alliance and the Tyler side of the Blob Alliance, I think eventually there's going to be a battle there.
I'm not really sure about that. I do think that if Cody and Tyler can continue working together, they will. It just depends on what everyone else around them is doing. And there are some things that are happening. So Bayleigh and Tyler had a really good talk where she wants to make a deal that he's going to be like her number one guy kind of thing. Yeah. And we know that Tyler already has that kind of deal with Christmas going on, but Tyler didn't shut that down at all.
No. Tyler's got a Tyler, and what that means is that Tyler's going to, really just try to put all these different checks out there. Some of them are going to get bounced. He's probably going to get in some trouble. He has basically said in a lot of different ways that he doesn't want to send Bayleigh out of this game, and they have a relationship outside the game. I don't think he would go after her, but would he let someone else go after her so he doesn't have to? I don't know.
I think he will allow that to happen. I mean, everybody has to go, right? But I think working with Bayleigh and going far with Bayleigh is something that Tyler would entertain, and he is entertaining it.
And I think the good thing with Bayleigh is that even if we are sort of like, oh no, Bayleigh, don't do this because Tyler's got other people, I think Bayleigh is smart enough that she won't just hitch her wagon into Tyler. She will try to find some other options to go for as well. And I think just because Bayleigh is close to Tyler, I don't correlate that as meaning that Bayleigh is automatically just going to bond with everyone else in the Blob Alliance. Like, Memphis is not going to suddenly become her BFF. I don't think we have to worry about that.
No, but the good thing about Tyler is that Tyler does end up, yes, he does end up making these final twos, but, you know, the people that he's made those with this season, there isn't as many as he has in the past. And he does seem to stay loyal to the people that he wants to sort of make that final two with. And while it wasn't 100% like solidified or anything, because they've played together before, and yeah, there were some problems there, but they've worked it out, and, you know, he's apologized, and they've moved past it. They have a relationship. I can see this being real as the weeks go on, that they can just get closer and closer.
The one bit of good news, I guess I would say, for Tyler and all of his final twos are really close deals. A lot of people have these this time, so it's not like everyone can be like, how dare you, Tyler, do something that none of us are ever doing, because you people are all doing it too.
Yeah, it's true. But we got to talk about some not so great news when it comes to Bayleigh, Davon, and Christmas, which is pretty much all the other women that are going to be left in the house after Janelle. So, Nicole and Danny have had a talk where it looks like after Kaser, they're going to go after all the rest of the women in the house.
It really feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they have some arguments of why they want to do this, that Davon and Bayleigh have been talking about them. Christmas, I don't really know why they want to go after her, but she came up as a, you know, she's a threat, whatever, but they're really focused on getting out the rest of the women. And they're not saying, oh, we got to get out the rest of the women. Yeah. It just happens to be that all the names they said is the rest of all the women in the house, which would leave them, if they had their way, with 7 other guys if Kaser ends up going home first. Yeah. And then they're the only 2 women in the house. And I'm not really sure why they're kind of going in that direction, because there are other people that want them out too.
It's not great. Like, let's make that very, very clear. I don't think it's a good move to be surrounded by that many other guys who may just decide to bro down at the very end. You don't know what they're going to do. Like, them sort of recognizing, okay, Kaser needs to go soon. This is Kaser getting sort of screwed over by having Janelle just a part of this season.
Yeah, and in some ways it is. I mean, Danny brought this up where she said, you know, I know Kaser needs to go next, because if there is some sort of twist that brings Janelle back into this house, Kaser can't be still sitting in this house. And that I totally get, because I could absolutely tinfoil hat, see production, putting Janelle back in this house again. So it's not such a crazy theory that maybe she's going to come back in. Kaser's still there. That's a problem.
Or maybe you won't even have an opportunity to go after Kaser after the America's Power comes into the game that I am making up that he's probably going to use to nominate Kevin. Don't
Magic!
do it!
Yeah.
Because this is just, oh boy, yeah. This idea of, okay, Bayleigh, Davon, Christmas, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, it really doesn't. Especially Christmas. Christmas is not really coming after them. No. I mean, when I heard Christmas, I was just like, okay, like, what is this really about? Like, I don't understand. Like, Davon and Bayleigh, yeah, they've talked about sort of coming over, you know, and taking up the other side of the house. Christmas is part of the other side of the house. And so, what are you doing?
The funniest thing to me is that a lot of people seem to be thinking, at least within this Blob Alliance, that a Christmas HOH coming up would be fairly good. But she's going to be so exhausted by taking care of 13 star babies on Thursday. If this is an endurance challenge, she's just going to fall asleep halfway through it.
It's possible.
It could very well be a mess. But that is our morning edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars Live Feed Spoilers. Thanks for hanging out with us. as always, this cactar that it keeps showing up way too much appreciates it greatly. It's having a weird hair day. It's got more hair than I do. Okay, well, anyway, let us know all your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further by checking the links in the description to the store, to our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.